It was kind of like a body overhaul there.
Yeah.
Huh? You won't believe the length she went to for these surgeries. Plural. There was more than one. But the picture on the left looks far better than the picture on the right. And if someone tells you otherwise, then they are just lying to you. But we will get into everything she did and how she decided to blame it on everyone else. But was there a couple that actually left together? Was there a new couple made? Did Big Ed find love? You'll have to wait and see. We will get to that. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Appreciate all the support. Y'all are amazing. Let's get right into it because this reunion was explosive. It was crazy. They brought in all the people that just want more and more attention, and none of us are shocked. And we kind of all just see it and we're like, yeah, well, they want attention. That's it. They're going to keep showing up because they give it to them. Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé.
Whenever I feel like I'm going to say something that Stevie is going to be mad, I try not to bring it up.
So not only has he gone from maybe he brings up something too much because she wouldn't give him a straight answer to now he won't say it at all because he doesn't want to make her mad. This is how relationships go to unalive themselves. This is how relationships go to end. Because when you can't talk or actually say, hey, something's concerning me or we have a conversation, then there's no sense in having the relationship because communication is key.
Me and Gregory, he tries to be a good husband, but I feel like he needs to grow up.
Yes, I mean, that's been the whole thing with him so far. He made strides because he started working, which is kind of crazy to say because it should have been happening all along, but yet here we are. The question is he going to make those strides and go even farther? But once they get into what's going on with them, then you kind of see the urgency in actually trying to grow up soon and finding that place together.
To be together, we need to get married, but if we had no obligation like this, we wouldn't be married for sure. I mean,
this is the funny thing about Sarper. We look at people on these shows, the 90 Day Fiancé shows, and we look at them like, hey, a lot of people just want to get a green card. Sarper would have been very happy just staying in Turkey. It was like the reverse. He did it because he knew that they had to get married to go forward for him to stay in the United States. But it was for the marriage itself. He had no problem staying in Turkey. So it's really bad that he's ended up saying now that I wouldn't have done it if we didn't have to do it to get married. Because again, it's the same thing whether you're trying to get a green card or not. If you're only getting married just simply because of an obligation for something and, oh, this is just a clerical thing, then there's no sense in doing it because it's not going to last. And as we see, they continue to have issues.
who gives a right? Just yes, it's called cancellation method. I give first a compliment, then a insult.
Yeah.
You are so,
I love how he has basically the compliment sandwich without the other piece of bread.
but you are sweating too much, for example.
For example, my friend, you are very cute, Gregory. Which is odd, but okay. But you're sweating too much because he showed that he's basically sweating like he's in the 100-degree heat or something. It's funny because, well, we talk about the compliment sandwich. Something good. Something we need to improve on. Something good. Sarper's like, nah, I'll give you one good thing, but only one. Then we give you bad thing. Then you improve bad thing. Okay?
Yeah, sure, tell me. Okay. So she messaged me on Instagram. And she's like, I actually really love you, but I'm sorry in advance for everything I'm going to say about
Interesting how this Amani and Shekinah beef begins. Listen, the plastic surgery queens, the top of the food chain of plastic surgery, no doctor will turn them down. They'll do 5 or 6 surgeries at a time, and that's perfectly fine. They are vying for who has the most plastic in their face, and yet they find a way to have more drama. Well, that's fantastic. Apparently, Amani sent a message to Shekinah and told her that, I'm sorry in advance. I really like you, but I'm sorry in advance for what I'm going to say. If that's true, we have yet to see any kind of receipts from this, like actual pictures or whatever. But if that's true, she's basically setting it up saying, I like you, but I'm going for the clout. So yes, I'm going to say some bad things about you. And it kind of appears that way. And I am no fan of Shekinah. She makes herself look really stupid too. But Amani, oh my gosh, after all the surgeries and after how she acted in this, as we get to more, you just, how do you like her? How?
I know.
Ah! Oh my God, what the hell is that? Oh, sorry. It's Amani, apparently, with plastic surgery that she thought was good. Wait till she goes into what she actually had to. I cannot emphasize this enough. You think that, see, clearly, she had some sort of nose job. This was before they even said what it was. I'm like, she clearly had a nose job. It looks like a botched nose job, but she clearly had a nose job. I thought, looking at Shekinah, like having all her surgeries, I'm like, oh yeah, you can clearly tell she had surgery. This looks like completely botched surgery. I knew she had more. Wait till you hear what they were.
Did a couple of surgeries.
Oh, did you?
I got a BBL.
No, I'm sure. Oh, okay. 1.
I've gotten a nose job.
2.
I felt the pressure to go to.
Okay, she only names 2 there. There's more, but it goes on a little bit later on. But she only mentions the BBL and the nose job, which clearly she had a nose job. Okay, that's clear. The Brazilian butt lift, one of the most dangerous surgeries that people are like, hey, let's try that thing. Congratulations, you're an idiot. But have fun with that. But there's more.
I tried to proactively reach out to her to try to build,
Oh, is that what you did?
friendship. And she's always one word with me.
So, but by her, definition of what happened, she tried to reach out. She was just being a friend, which I don't buy for a second, because I watched you for 2 seconds and I only have to see you on screen for 2 seconds to see what kind of manipulative, crazy person you are. And you and Shekinah are 2 sides of the same coin. So, both of you have tons of issues. So when I say something, oh, Amani's doing this onto Shekinah, it's bad, Shekinah would do the exact same thing. She's no innocent in this. But she's talking about, she only had 1-word answers with me. No one owes you a long explanation or a long detailed response for some message you send them. So stop acting like if someone sends you an okay or something like that, they owe you some sort of paragraph. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, grow up. We're adults here. Allegedly.
My under eyes were bothering me so much.
Oh, okay.
Because I had all of my filler dissolved.
Sure.
So
Is that
I
what
needed
happened?
A little lift.
Oh my God. Listen, you look at these 2 pictures, okay? There's a couple problems with these pictures. For one, she's wearing some sort of different contact lens, it appears, so it makes her eyes look different. She's got different makeup on. And on the picture on the right, she's actually smiling a little bit. And on the picture on the left, she's actively trying to frown. As far as under eyes she had done, that is a ridiculous statement she just said. You just look for an excuse because you're addicted to plastic surgery. That's fine. The problem is now you're in the state of trying to never-ending, fix everything you've done. You're addicted to plastic surgery, just like someone can be addicted to, tattoos or something like this, coming from a guy who has tattoos. So I get it. But at the same time, you're talking about something that is not healthy. You're talking about you needed to fix something that you really didn't need to fix. So let's see if we can pop up on there the actual what she looked like before all the surgeries, and then you do the due diligence, and then you make your own determination on whether she should have had any. I don't even have it on the screen right now, and I can tell you she shouldn't have had any surgeries and she looked better before. This is the ridiculous thing about plastic surgery, and she goes on to say she had all her fillers dissolved, so naturally she had to have an eye lift. What sense does that make in doing one and then doing something else? And it's a never-ending cycle.
Here, you were saying you were going for a more natural look. And so this
Were
surgery,
you now?
you feel, made you look more natural.
I do. I look more like myself before all the.
I can be delusional too.
And I just still only have a engagement ring, so.
Oh, okay.
Are we really
So now she's going to nitpick everything wrong with the marriage, because this is the problem. You only really see one side of the marriage with them, and it's Shekinah trashing Sarper. Sarper doesn't really actively trash Shekinah like she trashes him. He'll say things in response like, what are you talking about? You'll do this, and then yes, I get angry, and kind of things like that. But he won't actively say, you do this and this and this and this, and nag and nitpick like she does.
Oh my God.
So there's that.
Yeah,
So
the
you're
ring, so there's
missing the
that.
wedding band.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of this. Every argument, every fight, she reminds me that.
Yes.
I'm blessed that
And for some reason, Matt's idiot self decides to chime in.
when my wife married me,
Oh.
I put a stainless steel band around her finger.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
$100.
And now she's getting tons of surgeries and spending all your money on that while running away with a Tijuana hooker stripper and leaving your kids at home while you try to make it act like it's normal. So maybe stay out of this one, Matt, because you are one of the stupidest people I think I've seen. And you still try to justify this. Wait till they talk about whether they're still together in the throuple or not. That's a fun conversation.
So he thought Boston would be a good fit.
Oh, so you moved to Boston.
Oh my gosh, he did it. He had the nice runway out there. He can pull his plane right up, and they moved to Boston. Now, in defense of the move a little bit, I don't know what their setup is because it didn't get to it in this episode. So we'll see when they talk to them what kind of the setup is. Maybe he found another place with an aviation community and there's an airport. I don't know. But what I will point out is that they had that whole nice setup and she ended up getting him to move. So that's up to him. That's his choice and they're as a family, but I definitely think it's funny that she ended up getting it to happen. I'm curious if Clayton's there yet.
Did you have anything done?
I did. I'm actually 6 weeks post-op.
Listen to the list. Nose job.
Like a temporal lift.
There's one that I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what it was. So basically, she got this brow lift or something.
I got a BBL.
The BBL, so that's 3 now.
And then I got a mini tummy tuck.
A mini tummy tuck.
And lipo. Yes.
And lipo. And I love how she says, like she doesn't know what happened. She had 5 surgeries. Lipo, a tummy tuck. She had a brow lift, a nose job, and a Brazilian butt lift. And the ridiculous thing is, for one, she was skinny before. And the fact is you're making, for one, every time you go into any surgery, especially elective, there's always risk. But when there's some sort of health thing, you have to have a surgery, it's for your health to improve. And so you make the calculation that it makes more sense. Cosmetic surgery, you never have to have. So you're taking a risk putting your life in a doctor's hands simply for cosmetic reasons. You had 5. People have been unalived for less. So you decide to put your life in danger for that when you have kids, you have a husband. I could not care less about any/Brenda, but you have a husband, you have kids, and you don't care. And wait till they talk about that a little bit.
I kind of got pressure from like social media image.
You did it for the wrong reason.
What are your reasons?
My reasons are I wanted.
So hold on a second. Now the 2 plastic Barbie queens are going to argue, and Shekinah is going to tell her she did it for the wrong reasons. Here, okay, ladies, you're both incredibly stupid. It's okay. You're both dumb. They both did it for the wrong reasons because they did it at all trying to make it seem like they need to improve something while they're constantly trying to improve something that will never improve because they're putting plastic on top of plastic when they should just gracefully aged. It's ridiculous. But you talking about, it's the social media influence and everything like that. Shut the up. At some point, you need to be your own independent person and recognize that there are mean people out there. Everyone calls it bullying these days. You know what we used to call it? Someone who would just say something to you and you let it go. You brushed it off, you kind of let it roll off your back. But now, the reality is, I don't think she actually thinks that way. I think she's using it as an excuse because she knows she got botched plastic surgery. She looks like a ridiculous person, a bad Photoshop job. And now she's trying to justify it by saying, it was everyone else. It wasn't me.
Anyways, I went and got a lot of surgeries. And after the surgery, I went through a huge identity crisis, to be honest.
Pretty damn sure you were going through that huge identity crisis before you had the surgeries. And because you had a bad surgeon who deserves to have their license taken away for not recognizing that you shouldn't have ever had it done, you were able to get them done. All 5 of them.
I don't want to lose who I am and not look like myself.
What did you think was going to happen? Even if you thought delusionally that you want to still have some of yourself, you had to at least acknowledge that things can happen to where it's not going to look like yourself. Like, it's plastic surgery. It's someone cutting into you to make you look different in some way. Like, this is just complete delusional thinking.
Read, okay, I can navigate a restaurant fairly well.
Why does it matter? He speaks English.
Okay. This is the problem I have with this. So Jessica's basically saying she hasn't tried to learn Spanish. She shouldn't have to, okay? That's her decision. The problem I have with it is not that she's, all of a sudden deciding not to learn Juan's language. No. The problem I have with it is that she told him that she would. She told him that she would try, and she hasn't made any effort. Why are you starting off your relationship in a lie or telling him you're going to do something and not even attempt to do it? At the very least, you should be like, okay, look, I thought it was easier than it was. I thought I was going to have more time. I haven't gotten there. I'll try, whatever you want to say. But you never should have said to begin with. Now, Shekinah jumping in and say, why should you have to do that? I'm like, it's more to it than that, and Shekinah is stupid.
Everything changed
Oh my gosh.
after we got married.
Is that what happened? Everything changed after you got married? So now we're going to put on the fake waterworks. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to hold this up to my nose like I'm snotting, but I'm not, and there's no tears. Okay? Feel bad for me?
He moved into my place, which I know is hard because, it does feel like it's my place,
Because you make it feel like it's your place. Now, really, the right thing to do would be for y'all to get a place together. When you are a couple, when you are moving in together, the best thing to do is get your own place, rent an apartment. If you're at the level, then buy a house. But moving into someone else's place gets complicated if you cannot completely set it aside and let it be both of your place. Now, she never could do that. She never made it seem like she wanted to, and now she's crying about the fact that he's in her place, and it's been hard for Shekinah.
Wait, you're saying you don't like the marriage?
No.
He's like, I do not like this marriage. I'm going to tell you one thing about Sarper, and you see it throughout, through and through. He's honest. He'll tell you. When you say, yeah, but you yell at me, he's like, I'm sorry, I lose my temper. I get angry. Yes, I yell at you. And then he doesn't usually throw Shekinah under the bus. He tries to basically say we have arguments, when in reality, at this point, he should probably say what's really going on, which is that Shekinah starts a lot of these fights anyway, and then she likes to say, you yelled at me, though. Okay, Shekinah, are you trying to say you have never yelled at Sarper? Two wrongs don't make a right, so stop acting like you're innocent in this.
With her rules, I feel dependent. In Turkish, we have a saying. Instead of feeling dependent to a butcher, I cut my penis and eat it.
Oh, okay. That's the saying? Okay, I'm going to start using that with everybody. In Turkey, they have a saying. Instead of feeling dependent to the butcher, I cut off my penis and eat it. I understand what he's saying, in a sense. He's saying that instead of feel dependent, you would do extreme things. That's the point. Turkey has some interesting sayings. The problem is that he's saying he feels dependent on Shekinah. Some of the stuff he mentions, though, is, taking the trash out. These things. It's stuff that's really petty and he probably should just do. But the underlying issue is how she treats him. And she treats him like a second-class citizen. She doesn't treat him like they're in this relationship together. She treats him like you are a guest in my house. You're going to do what I say or get over it. I don't care if you go back to Turkey. That's the real problem.
Today? Before
today?
coming?
Usually that's the best part.
She loves it. I'm good at it.
He's like, I can do, there's one thing I am good at, and that is making Shekinah happy in the intimate way. Gotta love Sarper and his candor.
Last week was my birthday.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about your birthday.
You didn't
What?
even send me a text like...
I did.
Well, I'm sorry. Are we not adults here? Like, the last time I checked, all I think I see is a daycare, because no one acts like adults. You're literally saying, you didn't text me on my birthday. The 35-year-old man is saying to the 35-year-old woman, or however old they are, grow up. Like, tell me in the comments, if someone doesn't tell you it's your birthday or something like that, if someone doesn't text you, do you immediately get mad, or do you do what adults should do and be like, okay, and just move on? I don't know about you, but the more birthdays I have as I get older, it's more and more just like a regular day. And that's okay. We might go out to eat. My wife, she'll, do things for my birthday and it makes me happy, just spending time with the family. But as far as like, oh my gosh, gifts, that ended years ago. Oh my gosh, text messages. Oh my gosh, money for my birthday. Like, what are you talking about? I got to be at work tomorrow. Why are we complaining about someone texting for the birthday or something of that nature? Dan, Shekinah, grow the up.
Not only with Shekinah.
What's the issue with this?
And when there are no horses left
Yes,
in the
yes.
ranch, a donkey sees himself as the unicorn.
It's like he said that he basically said that Dan is a donkey and he thinks he's a unicorn because he's dated all in the friend circle, so he thinks he's special when all of them just discarded him. It's pretty funny. Dan is just kind of this guy they keep around. I really think it's for money or something of that nature. There's a reason, but it's kind of pathetic. And he thinks he's hot stuff, but it's pathetic. I don't know why they keep him around. It's really sad.
You are like a spare tire. I mean, when you have a flat tire,
Yes.
till you go to the repair shop, you put the spare tire.
They put the spare tire in the trunk until they need it. That's what the friend group does. And his face right there says it all. He's like, I know it's true.
Do you think Dan is really interested in Shekinah?
I like
He
the
just
chase.
wants girls that don't want him.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Oh, is that it?
Dan
So
loves rejection.
basically, they're talking about how he wants to go out to lunch and all these things with Shekinah. Sarper's like, no, you shouldn't go out to lunch with Dan. Shekinah agrees that, so good for her. And then they bring up the fact that it's not even just because it's a friend. You're an ex. And then he tries to downplay that while saying we did more than kissing. No, she shouldn't go out to lunch with an ex. He shouldn't go out to lunch with an ex-girlfriend. Like, these are things that you shouldn't cross these lines. There's no reason for it. It complicates things when you've been in a relationship with someone, and he clearly still wants to be with Shekinah. She should cut him off completely. There is no reason for him to be in her life. He complicates everything.
He's sitting here in the morning, but
Oh, okay.
he's gone.
Oh.
And he left his ring
Oh, sure.
and his AirTag.
So they decided to say there was some footage that they're going to play because of a fight. And what do you know? It's Shekinah's footage that she provided, and it's always one-sided. In this case, she decides to spin the narrative saying, oh, and he's usually sitting here, but he left his ring, he left his AirTag, and he's gone. And then she can spin the narrative however she wants. This is the most manipulative crap I have ever seen. And I don't know if the show has reached out to Sarper for him to send footage, but clearly they're not getting any footage of her. So he's not doing the same to her. So instead of just being like, we had a fight, which I'm sure she had something to do with, or was at least a part of in some way, is trying to make it seem like he did everything wrong and he just up and left. This is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen.
Me and Shekinah, we are just like enemies to each other.
That's not good.
She doesn't want to sit with me. I feel that.
You can see it because they were sitting really far apart on the couch. So clearly she's, feeling some kind of way. And yet all she can say is, he's mean. I think everyone with eyes sees that Shekinah plays a big role in their arguments. Not that Sarper's innocent. I don't think he is at all. I've never said that. But everything he says comes from a place of, it seems like, they get into a fight, he gets frustrated, and he gets elevated. Never of anything crazy, just maybe raising his voice, and then he ends up walking away and leaving. Shekinah likes to play that up like he's doing all the problems, when in reality, she's a part of it big time.
It feels like he doesn't care about me.
Wow, I'm the guilty one.
Exactly. Like, every time, it feels like he doesn't care about me. I'm the guilty one. And she's like, yes, you are. I'm like, how? How is he always the guilty one? It's one thing to be like, look, we had a fight. We both said some things. We regret it. Relationships have fights. They happen. There's no perfect relationship. But when you constantly acting like it's one side, this relationship is never going to last, because if she can't admit she's wrong, if she can't apologize when she's wrong, or come back to the table and talk, which every time it happens when they talk, it seems like it's him coming back, except for the one time on the show when she went to find him at the coffee shop, which was only because they wanted to play up the fact that he had an AirTag that she planted on him. Otherwise, it seems like he's the one coming back. It's going to be some big problems if she can't bridge that gap and try to make efforts herself.
Say what I am. I'm the honest, the most honest person that you can ever see.
Okay.
That's true. He is honest. He'll tell you. He's honest about everything, and so it seems. Everything we've seen on here, he'll tell you he does this, he overreacts, he gets angry. He'll be honest about it. She, on the other hand, does not, because she will never admit that she made a mistake.
Amount of weight, and I feel so much better about myself.
I think we have a photo of you before you lost the weight.
Damn, you know what? Good for Mahdi. So he's basically a personal trainer now. He got his green card and everything, and they decided to show a picture of how he helped Stevie lose some weight and things of that nature by creating a diet plan or not a diet plan, but an exercise plan. I don't know if he created a diet plan, but power to him, because people don't recognize how much better you feel when you start getting in an exercise routine, when you start eating better, when you start losing some weight if you're carrying around a lot of extra weight, when you don't have all those refined sugars. The mental clarity you have, the confidence it builds is powerful. And if someone can help you do that, a good personal trainer, it goes a long way. It is basically, exercise and dieting can be a form of therapy, because what it does to alter and make or normalize your brain chemistry and make these anxieties and depressions better in a lot of cases is amazing. But The hardest part is getting in that routine. So once you get in that routine after a couple weeks, it makes it easier. The hardest part is those couple weeks. But power to her. Got to give credit where it's due, because that's the kind of stuff that is just powerful to see. And good for Mahdi for really taking that on and her wanting to do it.
I already knew that she has narcolepsy, and most of these symptoms are for that.
Yeah. So they're talking about basically that all the things, the issue she had the narcolepsy, with the fear of going over bridges and everything. It's like, I knew about all these. We talked about all these. That's why it makes it more interesting and more crazy that she refuses to talk about the fact that it really seems like she might be bisexual, and she won't give a straight answer on it. The issue isn't even really so much about the sexuality at this point, although I think, Mahdi would have wanted to know beforehand, so then he can decide whether this is going to be an issue or not, because then you have to know, do you have to worry about girls too? But now it's just completely pushing it down the road and acting like you don't want to answer the question, while being completely honest and truthful, or at least so he thinks, about everything else. That creates trust issues. So if you do ever tell him, then he's just going to be like, okay, are you going to go be with a girl? Now I'm going to worry about that, because you've developed these trust issues where if you just said it in the beginning, yeah, but I'm with you. So I am bisexual, but I'm with you, Mahdi, and I love you. But it would have not created the same trust issue.
Hi.
And ever hungry for her 15 seconds of fame.
Wow. Veronica, how do you know that?
Good Lord.
So I am actually dating a Persian boy.
She is a freaking liar. Not that she's dating a Persian boy. She probably is. She's dated half of the country. Just never works out. So I don't know why she's here giving advice. But the fact that when they ask how you knew how to greet Mahdi in, his language, she says, I'm dating a Persian boy. No, you learned that just to come out on the show to say it, so you can try to look good, so you can continue to get your 15 seconds of fame, because the 90-day fiance cake train might end one day, and you're trying to make it last.
Hi, everyone.
Good to meet you. So
why the hell is he wearing what appears to be the Saved by the Bell intro on his shirt? I respect the 90s respect from you, my friend, but now I kind of want to go watch Saved by the Bell. I'm not going to lie.
He's going to pay for a personal trainer in Mississippi.
I mean, look, is this guy delusional? Why does his friend think that people in Mississippi wouldn't pay for a personal trainer? Like, people will pay for a personal trainer. Yes, you have to get the business. It's not an easy niche to do, because you have to really drum up your business, and sometimes it's difficult. But people are going to pay. There are people out there that want to pay, that want people to help them, because it makes it easier to get started, and you don't have to worry about doing the research for your workout plan, for your diet, all that. It helps having someone to help you. It's not always cheap, but people will pay for it. So he's in delusional land. And by the way, if Mahdi were to move out to LA like he's talking about, which we'll get to, the personal trainers are a dime a dozen out there. So it would be even harder out there to compete.
Honestly, to me, in Mississippi, I have almost zero friends.
Well, with friends like this, you're probably better off.
Why does she keep chiming in? It's not, I know they brought her here, but she's really trying to get words in to act like she's a good commentator, when all it is gossip, BS. Let me just get this drama going. So she's probably doing everything the 90-Day Fiancé producers want her to do, but it looks ridiculous. I'm like, just get the hell off the stage. My God.
To leave family, friends, everything behind. And guess what is the biggest risk Stevie has made? Crossing that bridge to pick him up from the airport.
All right, listen. If you watch this show, that I am no fan of Stevie. I've had tons of criticisms of her going through this whole process. Sure. But you don't have to go so low. Like, she basically has a fear of going over bridges or something. She gets nauseous, something like that. And he decides to say that Mahdi's made all these sacrifices, and the only thing you've done is gone over that bridge to pick him up. I mean, that's kind of the most low, belittling thing you can say. Like, to say that she hasn't made any sacrifice for this relationship, I'm sure he's done more because he's come over here and things of that nature. But this is just trying to dig at her, and this is not... It's what they want because it's drama, but it's unneeded.
In the first weeks and months that I was here, I was so depressed. She has done a lot. She has helped me a lot. I don't think anyone in this world has helped more than Stevie.
And
Now, I will give him a lot of credit here. He's married. What he's doing is, for one, he's protecting his wife. Good for him. He's not trying to air out their dirty laundry. And even when his friend is saying things that she's not doing anything, he's defending her by saying, this is what she did do. When I was so depressed and down and out, she was there to support me, and she was a rock to me. So power to him for doing that. You can be critical or have conversations with your wife or significant other when you're, in private, and maybe it's not the nicest things you'd say in public, not anything crazy, but like conversations that are difficult. But in public, to people that are just there as friends, family, outsiders, whatever, you defend your wife. You defend your husband. You make it known that you are a support to them. And he did that right here. Good for him.
Questioning me about my sexuality when I choose to be with him is not necessary.
It's necessary when you keep giving off vibes and you won't actually answer the question. So there are reasons why the question was asked, and you could have answered it straightforward, but because you continue not to, and because you continue to evade, it just brings up the trust issues. You need to be upfront and honest with your spouse to begin with. Someone you're going to marry, you got to be honest about everything. You just do. You cannot start a relationship off with secrets or lies.
I think I'm into souls and personalities and who people are more than their body.
Without giving a direct answer, she gives an answer. Almost every time she's answering yes, without saying yes, by really skirting the question, saying, I'm interested in people's souls. Look, if you weren't interested in girls, you would just say, no, I'm only interested in guys. It'd be that simple, but you're continually circumventing the question, so this continues instead of just being honest and trying to move on from it.
I've kissed many of my friends. Women.
A romantic, intimate kiss?
No, I would say more like
what?
drinking and...
We were drunk last night.
Are you serious?
Does that include Megan, your
friend? There you go.
I've kissed Megan, yeah.
Absolutely, and the truth comes out. It's all in the open. Look, they thought, okay, it'd be a good idea. This was the interesting part. So the Stevie question happened, and instead of answering, they skirted around it. But the show tried to drum up some drama by saying, have you ever kissed a girl, though? Trying to lead into it. Then they decided to ask the staff, or the cast, not the staff, kind of the staff. They decided to ask them if they've kissed a girl, the women. And so they get to Jessica, and what she decides to say is she has kissed a girl. Then goes far as to say she's kissed her friend Megan, and talks about how it's when they're drunk, and it's not romantic, but it's when you're drunk and you've done it several times with the friends. She's definitely done more. There is more to this than that. I think that her and Megan have done plenty of things, and Megan is obsessed with her now. Maybe she can just brush it off as some drunk thing, but Megan can't.
And we have to stop talking about that.
So yes.
So basically, even though he said, see, he kind of has let it go. But this is where we're at with it. He's let it go. You knew the show was going to drum it up. I mean, he still wants an answer, but he's just not talking about it because she's not giving the straight answer. But of course, they're going to continue it going. It would be in her best interest to just answer. Be honest and just answer, and then try to move on from it. Because at this point right now, you're just basically fanning the flames of trust issues.
Uncover this truth, because if you don't, something might happen.
You've created this.
Couldn't I wake up tomorrow and maybe you want to do something with another man?
Yes, you absolutely could. And he already probably is concerned about that. He wants to know if he needs to be concerned about you doing something with other women too. Like, you're not selling this method, what you're doing of not saying anything very well. You're actually making it worse.
Let me ask you a question. Imagine the whole situation was about me. Like, would you have the same concerns or no?
Honestly, no, I don't care about your past.
Oh, she absolutely would. She's a damn liar. I mean, she can say she doesn't care about the past, but if she walked into a room and he had all paintings of full frontal men, and he's like, I just like painting men's junk. And she's like, is there something you need to tell me? No, what are you talking about? Are you bisexual? Well, I just think I love souls. She would have some concerns. She is full of crap if she's saying she doesn't. But she doesn't have to worry about that because she knows that he's straight. He's a straight dude. She ain't got nothing to worry about. So she can make this basically straw man argument that does not matter, which is basically like, no, I wouldn't care about your past, when he's simply asking, would you? And she absolutely would. She knows she would, but she's lying.
No, just because I would need to kind of know if I should be on the lookout for just women or men too.
She's worried about half the room. Now she's worried about the whole.
Exactly. And everyone pretty much agrees on that point, which is kind of funny because they haven't really gotten on Stevie about this. But as soon as he puts the hypothetical, then everyone pretty much agrees on the point of, yeah, you kind of would want to know.
Can I ask you a personal question? Right. In those 14 years that you were with your wife, did you feel this is not what I like? I wish I had something.
I think it's hilarious that Mahdi decided to ask. I think it's hilarious how Mahdi decided to ask the one person who was married to a woman and then decided he's just going to be with dudes and actually try to get some insight. So it's pretty hilarious, but also, you know, he's just trying to find out. He's trying to find out.
I think I fall also for the person.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It's scary for all of us to expose.
See, now he's BSing around because he knows the truth, which is that, yeah, there were probably signs, and yeah, it probably was, you know, something I was going to be doing the whole time. Although I want to say that the way he described it with his ex-wife, they kind of, she already knew anyway, so it was like, maybe not surprising, but he's not trying to just outright say, yes, maybe you should have some concerns, which I think is hilarious because he knows it's true. Good God. They're bringing this guy out. Like we knew this was going to happen. It's pointless. It's an attempt for drama. Of course it is. They even dressed him up in a little suit with his glasses. He didn't forget his glasses.
I just couldn't believe that you had the nerve to tell his mom to leave her own house.
I love how Shekinah has a sarcastic smile when she's saying it. Like, she's like, I just can't believe you had the nerve. Like, Joan was wrong. I said at the time, Joan was wrong at that point to say, I wish you'd leave more. However, I find it funny that Shekinah is saying all this when she has never attempted to make Sarper feel like their home is their home. It's always her home. So instead, she would rather him be subservient to her in the same kind of situation where Joan feels that way to the mother. Now, in the mother situation, it is her home. It's not Greg and Joan's home. She has every right to be there. So she can be there if she wants to, and Joan's just going to have to get over it until they get out. Shekinah, on the other hand, is married, and instead of making her husband feel welcome, she likes to trash him and make him know that it's her home and not his.
Maybe see, take her out to a hotel or motel sometimes, and you know, or do it in the car.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Get creative.
Juan with the creative, he's like, you know, when you go up in a plane, you just go in the lavatory, you know, it's just like the Mile High Club. Have you ever heard of? Like, you got to get creative, man. Gotta love Juan for that one.
By the time I get pregnant, I'll be out of the house. So calm down.
So they get into a little back and forth because for some reason Shekinah decides that she's going to defend Greg's mom in her house when Shekinah, it's like, you know, don't throw stones in your glass house, or, you know, take the splinter out of the speck out of your own eye before you take the plank out of or take the plank out of your own eye before you take the splinter out of someone else's, you know, all those metaphors from the Bible. But it's kind of funny because I don't know why Shekinah chose this one. Basically, Greg and Joan have said that they want to, they're basically not using protection. They want to have a baby, but they're still in the mom's house. So the argument is that good or not? Joan argues that they're married, so they shouldn't have to use protection. Okay, I mean, you're right. You don't have to, but is it going to be the most ideal situation for a child? Probably not. I hope they're working to get in the house. I just think Shekinah having some kind of moral or trying to virtue signal to them and act like she's got this great moral, you know, compass or something, when every time you look at her, there's some sort of negative thing she's doing. It's hilarious.
You could put mirrors on the ceiling. You could have ropes. I mean, it would be a lot of fun.
Like, he is trying so hard to remain relevant and try to act like he's some sort of comedian or something. It's kind of crazy. He's like, yeah, in your house you could have ropes and a mirror. Ha, I'm talking about sexual stuff. Ha ha. It's pretty dumb.
And do you want to be close if they have like babies in the future? Do you want to be close to them?
Well, what's important now, maybe I could find somebody.
Okay, so the mom, when they start talking about babies, and Aaliyah asks if don't you want to be near the babies in the future because they said something about maybe moving back to Uganda, then or Greg's mom is like, well, maybe I can find someone for myself. You disregard your grandbaby? Like, just completely don't even say, I mean, you could at least say, well, of course I want to be close, but I might like to find someone myself too. But no, just completely disregards. That was kind of a crazy response.
You, man, seriously, bro. Thank you. I like that suit, man.
Go look at this. It's like they're Schwarzenegger and DeVito from Twins. That's what they look like.
Thank you.
I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that just difference right there. That is Schwarzenegger and DeVito, hands down. Gotta love it. They need a buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you have it on your bingo card? Greg's mom and Big Ed walking away together and patting each other's butt. Because that's exactly what they did.
Today, are you still a throuple?
Of course.
You are. You're back together.
Wow, and the idiocy continues. He knows it's wrong, but it gets worse because wait till you hear how the rules have changed.
I believe we have some photos of that trip. Can we see those?
Look at those kids. Those kids look like they are miserable. They look like they don't know what's going on. They're uncomfortable. This is awful. This is these people forcing this crazy throuple relationship they don't understand on their kids who have no idea what's going on while trying to explain they know it's about love. They're dumb. They are really dumb.
What they understand is love. And they know that
okay.
Ani loves them and they love her so much.
What are you talking about?
Between the three of us.
No, they don't. They don't know any of that. Trying to explain how the kids understand. They know that there's love between us. They know that Ani loves them. They don't even know who Ani is. You just found out that she used a fake name like yesterday, whenever that last episode was, which it was probably 6 months ago or whatever, but still. And you're going to act like the kids understand? Like, these people are delusional. I know I've said that the key word for today is delusional. If you hear delusional, you might win a prize. Okay, no prize. But seriously, they are all delusional.
It was very much a goal of mine personally to give Amani a dream that she's had since childhood.
Wow.
She's always wanted to live that gay lifestyle.
Oh,
and I wish that I could give it to her.
Wow, this guy is the biggest coward, turtle shell, piece of garbage human being I think I've seen on this show. He is no man, and he's here trying to explain away why he, made it okay to be in this throuple, to give her her dream of living the gay lifestyle. When in reality, it's her running away from her marriage, running away from her kids, and just completely just putting everything aside for her own selfish needs. But yet, he's going to say he wants to make her happy. Guess what? Your relationship is falling apart. Everyone sees it, everyone knows it, and because you're too stupid to realize it, well, here we are. But it's hilarious because after all that, wait till you see who really gets the benefits from this relationship.
Bro, you look like hypnotized, With Amani, whatever she says, okay,
yes.
Right, I am fully supportive.
Yes, he doesn't push back. The only time he pushed back was before the throuple saying basically, I don't think this is a good idea, and then she convinced him, which, only took so much convincing when he found out he was going to be able to sleep with all three of them. He kind of probably let down his guard, but all three of them, I'm sorry, both of them. But either way, he was right in the beginning to say this is not a good idea.
It's even more developed now.
Oh, okay.
They spend quality time together and have sex without me. A lot.
Oh my gosh, her dream is becoming Matt fulfilling her dream, which is just Matt sleeping with another woman. This is fantastic. I need some popcorn right now so I can just...
That's interesting because he said he was doing it for you.
Yes. Absolutely, doing it for her.
Me and her still haven't had sex, just me and her.
Hold on a second. Good Lord. So basically, he's doing it for you, but he's the only one having sex with Annie/Brenda stripper Tijuana hooker and by yourself, but whenever y'all have sex, it's all three of y'all. You've never had sex with her by yourself. And you don't see that as a problem? What the... Oh, you know what? I think Matt is playing 4D chess. I was wrong. He played this whole thing out to be able to have his cake and eat it too and make it seem like it's for Amani. You know what? I think that's diabolical.
And I can't go because of my job.
Oh, okay.
So you go see Ani by yourself, Matt?
Oh my gosh, the hole that keeps getting dug. It's like rock bottom, but then you keep digging more. Basically, she can't go because of her job to see Annie/Brenda Tijuana hooker, but Matt will go by himself. I mean, they got to be like 2 steps away from just Matt and Annie running away together. Although I think Amani has the money, so I don't know how that'll work. But either way, this is not a throuple. This is a facade.
Of course you love him, but physically you are still have passionate to him?
I do, but my brain is all about business
What?
and making money. I can't be a mom and a business owner and also be able to have sex. I just can't do it.
Wow. So even deeper, like I said, holes get dug. Basically, she's saying that she doesn't have the space in her head to be able to be intimate with her husband. So now it seems like this whole thing is so he can be intimate with someone else because she doesn't have time for it. But yet they're disguising it as it's for her because she's always had this dream, which she doesn't have time for because she doesn't have the space in her head. Y'all are the most contradicting liars I think I've ever seen.
I mean, he looks now.
You know, I support her every day of my life, no matter how she looks or what she...
So basically, you know that surgery is botched. They ask him how she looks and do you like it? And, I support her no matter what. I'm like, yeah, sure, but that's not saying she looks good, though.
But it's too much for me.
Again, she don't like the surgery either because you look jacked up.
And to have to say, I changed my appearance because I don't feel...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you wouldn't
That's
say
why
exactly that, but you don't feel beautiful, but they're beautiful, I
Uh-huh.
don't want any...
Actually, a good point here from Jessica, basically saying, and it's got to be harder because you have daughters who kind of look like you. So how do you explain changing your look to your daughters who look like you? Are you going to say, one day you can change your look because I think it's better that way? How do you explain that? That's actually a really good point. The ridiculous rolls on. It was a crazy reunion part 1. There's part 2 next week, but it just gets crazier and crazier. Clearly, they're trying to just keep the drama going, but these crazy couples, these delusional couples, they're all liars pretty much, so of course, there's never a short amount of it to go around, so let the craziness continue. We will see the next part next week. Make sure you check out the 90-Day Fiancé Hunt for Love, which is insane, and also the video I drop on Thursdays at 10 a.m., which is going to be like news stories. We'll check out some of the trailers and things of that nature and just kind of roll with it and see what's going on because there's never a lack of things to talk about. It's all crazy. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support. I will see y'all next time.